It's less than an hour to midnight on October 30th, 1995, one of the most stressful and divisive nights in Canada's history. This is Jacques Parizeau. He's the Premier of Quebec, the governor in American terms. His party currently holds a majority government over the province of Quebec and has for the past year, but following today's events, this will be his last day as leader. Tomorrow he's going to resign.
Je libérerai les postes de Premier ministre.
Why is that? Well, because tonight he's just lost a referendum, the second of its kind in this province. And worse, he's lost by a shockingly small margin, failing to get the result that he wanted, the one that people have been waiting 15 years since the last referendum to try to get again.
Chers amis, si je vous ai bien compris, vous êtes en train de dire à la prochaine fois.
With the highest ever voter turnout in Quebec's history, the province is divided right down the middle. In percentages, 49.5% voted oui, yes, and 50.5% voted no, to the question, acceptez-vous que le Québec devienne souverain? Do you agree that Quebec should become sovereign? Should Quebec become its own nation, claim independence tonight, and separate from Canada? At the time, no one knew this, but had the vote gone differently, there were plans for an invasion by Canadian Special Forces stationed near the border, ready to swoop in and seize federal property in the event of separation. If about just 0.5% of people voted the other way, things would have gotten very, very interesting. But it didn't turn out that way, and so Jacques Parizeau is on TV now about to address his non-nation about the results. Tensions are as high as they can possibly be. The crowd before him is emotionally distraught. It's been a long, tiring campaign. It's all anybody's talked about in this province for the past 15 years. And to have come so close to miss it by barely a tick, people are simultaneously proud and devastated. Parizeau's had 2 different speeches prepared, his delivery of each dependent on the outcome of tonight's vote, and now, in order to process and declare the very tight defeat, he's supposed to read from the version he'd rather not. Except, as you might know if you're familiar with this story, that's not actually what he's about to do. Instead, he's going to make a big mistake. He's about to go off script, express his feelings candidly to the entire province watching, and he's going to utter one sentence that no matter how hard he'd try for the rest of his life, he'd never be able to distance himself from. You see, tonight, Parizeau isn't just going to address this failed bid at sovereignty. No, he's tired, he's disappointed, and you know what? Maybe he's even feeling a bit vindictive. He's up there, and he's gonna tell everyone exactly who he thinks took it from them. He is about to blame someone.
C'est vrai qu'on a été battu au fond par quoi? Par l'argent puis des votes ethniques, essentiellement.
It's the end of the 1995 Quebec referendum, and the ethnics of Quebec have just been publicly called out, live on TV in front of everyone, for blocking them from claiming their independence. And I say it that way because, as the speech would continue, the ethnocentric line drawn, which up until this point in the campaign was something the party was trying hard to disown, would keep getting retraced thicker and thicker.
Hey, si vous voulez, là, on va cesser de parler des francophones du Québec, voulez-vous? On va parler de nous. À 60%, on a voté pour. Alors, ça veut dire que la prochaine fois, au lieu d'être 60 ou 61% à voter oui, on sera 63 ou 64, et ça s'ira. C'est tout. N'oubliez jamais, les 3/5 de ce que nous sommes ont voté oui. C'était pas tout à fait assez, mais bientôt ça sera assez. Notre pays, on l'aura. L'indépendance du Québec reste le ciment entre nous. Nous voulons un pays et nous l'aurons.
For the most part, people on both sides were really displeased with this. On the no side, well, because they cast the ethnic votes, and on the we side, for feeling embarrassed, suddenly having their vote associated with a leader's discriminatory remark. Most people on both sides were pleased when he stepped down the next day, but for others, it definitely served as this grand moment of validation. People who may have once felt that they needed to keep their ethno-nationalist view of Quebec private now had reassurance. I mean, come on, the Premier said it on TV, it's those damn dirty ethnics, that's what's wrong with the province.
I used words that were strong, last night. But they underline a reality that exists.
I suppose it's comparable to the effect a lot of Trump's speeches had on closeted wingnuts in the States during his campaign. For people on the fringes of society with stinky ideas, hearing someone speak their language on TV is definitely empowering. To everyone in Quebec, it was very clear from the moment the word left his mouth who Parizeau meant by ethnics. Not that he needed to, but years later he would clarify that he was specifically referring to Italian, Greek, and Jewish people whose political coalition was extremely active against the movement to separate.
Du Front commun, du Congrès italien, grec et juif, qui avait une activité politique extraordinaire contre dans le camp du Nord, avec un succès formidable.
I should mention to his credit, he did make this clarification during an interview in 2013 where he came out against the current Parti Québécois plan to create a religious symbols ban, the same one that has today become a reality in the form of the often critiqued and currently challenged Bill 21. The reason you might have heard that one news story that broke out into American media about it where a public school teacher in Quebec was fired for wearing a head covering last year.
How would you explain this situation to the kids who are very upset to lose their teacher?
Okay, first, the school board should have not hired this person in the first place as a teacher, given Bill 21. Employees in positions of authority, including teachers, should not wear religious symbols while on duty.
It seems like towards the end of his life, Parizeau realized that pushing minorities around wasn't a very good idea, or at least not a good look. And it's worth noting, it seems like he learned his lesson and he tried warning the current leadership of his party about it. But what am I saying? Forget about all this. For now, it's still October 30th, 1995, and I am just over a year old, and I am two of those kinds of ethnics. And I'm also dressed as a Dalmatian because the next day is coincidentally Halloween and my parents had no taste. Anyways, hello, that's me. Now what, you might like to ask, the fuck does any of this have to do with the critically acclaimed action roguelike dungeon crawler Hades by Supergiant Games? Most of this is going to be extremely petty and personal, and I know I shouldn't expect anyone to understand or relate, but I'm going to try anyways, because I think there's something to learn from my perspective, despite the very niche circumstances and French-Canadian incubation that have formed it. Though, I will say it does have something to do with why I'm standing outside the Ubisoft Montreal building right now. I don't actually know if you can see it. I'll get some B-roll later, because I think the camera's focused on me, but, we'll get it done.
Baby, toi, mon ami, qu'est-ce que tu fais de ta soirée? Et dans ta TV, faut pas rester encavané. Heureusement que dans vie, certaines choses refusent de changer. Enfile tes plus beaux habits, car nous allons ce soir danser.
Vive le Québec!
Here in the greater Montreal area, one of our biggest grocery store... My lips are freezing and I can't fucking say things. Biggest grocery store... I can't say the word grocery store. I'm freezing to death. Somebody's really excited for the new Assassin's Creed. Maybe the Rainbow Six? I don't know. Somebody's freaking out over there. I think they just found the tallest point and they just unlocked the map. Crazy shit going on tonight in front of the Ubisoft building. Montreal, baby!